Job 25. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, with him are dominion and fear, he makes peace in his heights. Do his troops have numbers? And on whom does not his light shine? How then should a man be just with God, and how pure would he be who is born of a woman? Behold, even the moon does not shine, and the stars are not pure in his eyes. And how much less man, who is a worm, and the son of man, who is a little worm? Job 26. But Job answered, saying, how did you help him who had no strength, and support the arm that had no strength? How didst thou counsel him that had no wisdom, and fully made known the cause, even as it was? To whom did you speak words, and whose spirit came out of you? The dead trembled beneath the waters, with their inhabitants. Hell is naked before him, and there is no covering for perdition. The north extends over the void, and suspends the earth above nothingness. He binds the waters in his clouds, yet the cloud is not torn beneath them. He covers the face of his throne, and spreads his cloud over it. He marked a boundary on the surface of the surrounding waters, to the ends of light and darkness. The pillars of the sky tremble, and are frightened by his threat. With his strength he divides the sea, and with his understanding he subdues pride. By his spirit he decorated the heavens, his hand formed the coiling serpent. Behold, these are but the edges of his paths, and how little we have heard of him. Who then would understand the thunder of his power? Job 27. And continuing Job in his speech, he said, as God lives, who turned my cause astray, and the Almighty, who embittered my soul, that, as long as there is breath in me, and the breath of God in my nostrils, my lips shall not speak iniquity, neither shall my tongue pronounce deceit. Far be it from me that I should justify you, until I expire. I will never separate my integrity from myself. I will hold fast to my righteousness and will not let go. My heart will not reproach me all my life. Let my enemy be like the wicked, and he who rises up against me like the wicked. For what will be the hope of the hypocrite, having been covetous, when God takes away his soul? Will God hear his cry when tribulation comes upon him? Will you delight in the Almighty, or will you call on God at all times? I will teach you about the hand of God, and I will not hide from you what is with the Almighty. Behold, you have all seen it, why then do you fade away in your vanity? This then is the wicked man's portion from God, and the inheritance which tyrants will receive from the Almighty. If his sons multiply, it will be to the sword, and his offspring will not be satisfied with bread. Those who remain of him in death will be buried, and their widows will not mourn. If he heaps silver like dust, and clothes like mud, he will equip them, but the righteous will put them on, and the innocent will divide the silver. And he will build his house like a moth, and like a guard who builds a tent. Rich man lies down, and will not be picked up, he opens his eyes, and he will have nothing. Dreads take hold of him like waters, at night the storm sweeps him away. The east wind takes him, and he goes away, and sweeps him from his place. And God will cast it upon him, and will not spare him, he will run away from his hand. Each one will clap their hands against him and whistle, removing him from his place. Job 28. In fact, there are veins from which silver is extracted, and places where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is melted from stone. He puts an end to darkness, and searches every end, the stone of darkness and the shadow of death. He opens a mineshaft far from men, in forgotten places of the foot, hanging far from the men, they sway from side to side. From the earth comes bread, but underneath it is turned as if by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphire, and it is gold dust. The bird of prey ignores this path, and the eyes of the crow do not see it. The children of haughty beasts never trod upon it, nor did the ferocious lion pass by it. He stretches out his hand against the rock, and turns the mountains from their roots. He makes rivers come out of the rocks, and his eye sees everything that is precious. The rivers cover, and not a drop comes out of them, and brings to light what was hidden. But where will wisdom be found, and where is the place of intelligence? Man does not know its value, nor is it found in the land of the living. The abyss says, it is not in me, and the sea says, she is not with me. No fine gold will be given for it, nor will silver be weighed in exchange for it. Neither can it be purchased for the fine gold of Ophir, nor for the precious onyx, nor for the sapphire. Gold and crystal cannot be compared with it, nor shall it be exchanged for jewelry of fine gold. There will be no mention of coral or pearls, because the value of wisdom is better than that of rubies. It will not be equal to the topaz of Ethiopia, nor can it be valued by pure gold. Where then does wisdom come from, and where is the place of intelligence? For it is hidden from the eyes of every living thing, and hidden from the birds of the air. Perdition and death say, "We have heard her fame with our ears." God understands your path, and He knows your place. For He sees the ends of the earth, and He sees everything under the heavens. When He gave weight to the wind, and He took the measure of the waters. When He prescribed laws for rain and way for thunder lightning. Then He saw her and reported, He established it, and also searched it. And He said unto the man, Behold, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Job 29. And Job continued in his speech, saying, Oh, I wish I could be like I was in the past months, like in the days when God kept me. When He made His lamp shine on my head, and when I walked through darkness by His light. As I was in the days of my youth, when the secret of God was upon my tent. When the Almighty was still with me, and my children around me. When I washed my steps in butter, and streams of oil flowed from the rock. When I went out to the city gate, and in the street I made my chair ready. The young men saw me and hid, and even the elderly got up and stood up. The princes restrained their words, and laid their hands over their mouths. The voice of the nobles fell silent, and their tongue clung to their taste buds. When some ear heard me, it considered me blessed, when an eye saw me, it bore witness to me. For I rescued the poor who cried out, as well as the orphan who had no one to help him. The blessing of what was perishing came upon me, and I made the widow's heart rejoice. She clothed me with righteousness, and she served as my garment, like a cloak and a diadem was my righteousness. I became eyes to the blind, and feet to the lame. He was a father to those in need, and I inquired diligently about causes I had no knowledge of. And she broke the jaws of the wicked, and took the prey from her teeth. And He said, In my nest I will expire, and I will multiply my days like the sand. My root was spread out by the waters, and the dew remained on my branches. My honor was renewed within me, and my bow was strengthened in my hand. They listened to me and waited, and in silence they heeded my advice. When I had spoken, they did not reply, and my reasons were evident to them. Because they were waiting for me, like rain, and they opened their mouths like late rain. If I laughed at them, they didn't believe it, and the light from my face didn't make them fall. I chose His path, sat as leader, and dwelt as king among His troops, as one who comforts those who mourn. Job 30. Now, however, those younger than me laugh at me, whose parents I would have disdained to put with the dogs of my flock. Of what use would the strength of the hands of those whose strength was exhausted? From want and hunger they were weakened, and they withdrew to dry, dark, desolate, and deserted places. They gathered mallows near the bushes, and their food was the roots of the juniper trees. They were driven out from among the men, and they shouted against them, as against the thief. To dwell on the banks of the valleys, and in the caves of the earth and the rocks. They roared among the bushes, and gathered under the nettles. They were children of madmen, and children of nameless people, and they were expelled from the land. Now, however, I am their song, and I serve them as a proverb. They abhor me, and flee far from me, and do not refrain from spitting in my face. Because God loosed His rope, and oppressed me, therefore they removed the bridle before my face. On the right the young men stand up, they push my feet, and prepare their paths of destruction against me. They ruin my path, they promote my misery, against them there is no helper. They come against me as through a great breach, and revolve among the desolation. Fears came over me, they pursue my honor like a wind, and my happiness passes away like a cloud. And now my soul pours out into me, the days of affliction have taken hold of me. At night my bones are pierced, and my nerves do not rest. By the greatness of my evil my garment is disfigured, which, like the collar of my tunic, girds me. He threw me into the mud, and I was like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I'm standing, but I'm not paying attention. You have become cruel to me, with the strength of your hand you resist violently. You lift me up on the wind, you make me ride on it, and you melt my being. For I know that you will lead me to death and to the meeting house appointed for all living. But he will not stretch out his hand toward the tomb, even though they cry out for its destruction. Have I not wept over him who was afflicted, or was my soul distressed for the needy? However, while I was waiting for good, then evil came to me, while I was waiting for light, darkness came. My insides boil and are not quiet, the days of affliction surprise me. I walk blackened, but not from the sun, standing up in the congregation, I cry for help. I became a brother of jackals, and companion of ostriches. My skin is blackened upon me, and my bones are scorched from the heat. My harp has become a mourner, and my organ has become the voice of those who weep. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and leave a comment.